In this video we are conducting HCMC Stock Analysis. Healthier Choices Management Corp is the company. It is a hot penny stock right now. It's not actually worth, each share is not actually worth a penny yet, but it is flying up at a phenomenal rate. YouTubers, Reddit users, Wall Street Bets users are starting to catch on, and this company, despite its fundamentals and massive dilution, is absolutely flying. I'm going to conduct some analysis. If that's something that you seem interested in, then do please smash that like button, consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the video. Hey guys, welcome into the video. So here we are on the landing page for Healthier Choices Management Corp. So over the last 2 weeks or so, since the 26th of January, this company has experienced a phenomenal amount of growth in its share price. Despite not being worth a penny in share price yet, it's actually gone up sixfold in terms of its share price, offering a massive return to early investors in this one. Now, disclosure, I actually saw this company in December. It was highlighted on a couple of forums, but way before all this Wall Street Bets got behind these sorts of penny stocks. Now, the company now has a cap of $630 million based on revenue last year of 15 million. So its price sales PE ratio is starting to get pretty high, but to be fair, nobody is buying for this sort of fundamentals. You're just purely buying on the hype around this company. So the company itself, just to quickly let you know, aims to provide consumers with healthier choices for everyday lifestyles. It specialises in the production of cannabis and safer vaping technology, and owns a hell of a lot of intellectual property to do with vaping going forward, hoping to develop better revenue going forward. At the same time though, this really isn't that important. Having a look at this information isn't that important. They're aiming to get into vitamins and supplements, health and beauty, fresh produce and that side of things. And yes, you can argue that this has an awful lot of potential further down the line, but the amount of thousandfold % increase at the moment is just purely being traded on hype. And I want to just refer you to HCMC has raised 5 million of extra capital to take it forward over the last few days. On the 8th of February, it sold some extra stock to preferred investors at the cost of 0.0024. So anybody that bought this stock has already now made 300% on their investment, which is pretty decent. But this further diluted the total shares outstanding, and this is something that does concern me, and in my opinion is a big problem with this company, is the fact that it has a hell of a lot of shares outstanding. So volume is massively up, so there's billions of shares trading over these couple of days, but you shouldn't have billions of shares in your float. Now, this company currently has 86.84 billion shares outstanding, which is a enormous amount, some of the highest that I've ever seen, which is on float. And total shares outstanding, in fact, I stand corrected, at 105 billion. And the amount of average shares is massively up, to be fair, being bought and sold, because this is purely based on the speculation and the hype around this company. Now, it is great for short-term flipping this company, but what I do want to say to any of my subscribers and any of my watchers, you have to be extremely careful with this company. There is an awful amount of money to be made. Do not get me wrong. There is phenomenal money if you've got the risk appetite for it. There is a huge amount of money to be made, and this is also down to the lawsuit speculation as well. So if this company is suing another company, Philip Morris International, for theft of intellectual property, essentially over patent infringement. And this has been highlighted way back in November 2020 is when I first looked at it, but it's been picking up steam because it's featured on Wall Street Bets and Reddit penny stocks, etc. So you need to be on the lookout for when this patent infringement gets solved. What happens? That will cause a massive spike in the share price either way. It could go up hugely, it could come down hugely, it could do in the middle as well based on whatever, but the fundamentals of this company are still the same, which is what kept it so low in the first place. There is growth to be had here, but the sort of percentage growth that we're getting at the moment really doesn't reflect what's going on. But of course we know that that really isn't the point with these sort of penny stock plays and hype stock plays. It's just, are you willing to risk a serious amount of money to potentially make a serious amount of money or lose a serious amount of money? And you have to be very careful with this one. So just to highlight the carefulness of it, it's been solved now in credit to trading 212, but buy orders for this security were temporarily halted to restrict and prevent instrument suspension due to excessive order volume. They're working, trading 212 were working with the execution intermediary which was having issues reporting these transactions because of OTC markets, and this is because this company's total share float being over 100 billion is absolutely enormous, and if your broker is struggling to allow you to buy, you can bet your bottom dollar that they might struggle to allow you to sell as well. Now credit to trading 212, they acted on this extremely fast, they got it solved, but in these markets and in a very volatile world, not being able to buy or sell more stock at a ridiculous high or a ridiculous low or whatever is something that you really need to consider when you're getting involved in this company. Now what the company does is really good, and I do see a future in it over the long term if you're willing to hold, but the sort of percentage gain that you're getting at the moment is all through being pushed up that way, and it's up to you if you're up to throwing the dice on this one and yeah, making loads of money or not making loads of money. Me personally, in full disclosure, I am not invested in this company, but I can't help but give my opinion on such a hot in the news stock right now. I looked at it way back in December time, November time, when this lawsuit was first announced, and I walked away from it. Had I known what was going to happen, of course in investing it's going to be like that. Had I known what was going to happen, of course I would have bought 10,000 shares for the 100 quid it was at the time. But I have no idea with this sort of Wall Street bets which stock's going to be next, apart from if it's heavily shorted, that might give you an advantage. But these sorts of word is spreading massively now, and of course you could make a lot of money, but just to give you an example, I know a friend that jumped in on GME stock to try and get, not on my tip but on somebody else's tip who'd already made an awful lot of money. A friend jumped in with a lot of money and has actually lost £1,500 by having that depreciate on him, and I don't think it's going to get back to where it was. So that's just a word of warning there. Now of course that's not to scare anybody, that is just my opinion and something that happened to a friend that I know that had his fingers burned with these hype stocks. But also for every bad story there's going to be a huge success story. You can see screenshots all over the Reddit forums and Facebook forums of people making thousands of % return on this company and making hundreds if not thousands of pounds, which is of course really exciting, which is essentially what this sort of style of investing is all about. If you're here for fundamental analysis or anything like that, that is all out the window. You can't do that here essentially. I do actually like some of the products that this company offers, but that's just not what it is right now. You couldn't buy in now to hold this company for like years and years and years, because I suspect there will be eventually a crash further down the line as everybody moves on to the next super exciting stock, of course, but then it might be worth looking at again after that. But to get to the sort of point where you've got $650 million of market cap for $15 million in revenue and then making a loss at the same time, there's your problem essentially. But of course if you're an experienced investor, if you're investing in volatile stocks anyway, you already know what this is all about. Thank you very much for watching guys, absolute pleasure to give you my opinion on this really hot stock HCMC. If you can see your way to liking my video, that would be absolutely amazing. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome too. Catch you in the next one.